friends, Chris Kelly here. Hey, it's that time of the week again. Time to dive in and take a look at stats. What's going on in Portland Metro for the week in real estate, that is, and maybe talk a little bit more about value. I think I mentioned last week I kind of wanted to spend a little time on that, and I got a little different take on it this week versus what I talked about last week. So first, let's run to the stats. So you know what? Not dramatically different. I mean, here's your, this particular column right here, or row rather, right here, is the changes from the week prior. So really nothing dramatic. Listing inventories was a little off. The amount of sales were up a little bit, and solds were down a little bit. Having a hard time breaking out of the threes for a weekly amount of closed transactions. That's just super low. Again, I mean, we were complaining about how super low these numbers were. And, I was looking back at some of my old video posts. I do that from time to time just to see what I said and make sure that what I said tracks today. I remember on more than one occasion talking about, boy, it'd be nice to get new listings up over 1,000. And, here we are still lingering at, half of that or 60% of that. So it will definitely be nice to see things pick up in the market over time. And certainly they will do that, if and as interest rates come back down, which will happen if and as inflation comes back down, and so on and so forth. So, again, the velocity of sales, the things that are selling, they're moving at a pretty good clip. We just sold a place and it took 20 days, which it's funny because, a couple of my teammates and I were like, well, just seems like it took a long time to sell. It's like, guys, it was 20 days, winning 3 weeks. But that's where we are. The median days on the market of the things that are selling is 8. So there's a lot of things that are moving along. The average is 38. So definitely there's some things that sit out there that screw up the averages, which is why I like to look at the median. But pricing continues to creep up. I think last week, I'm looking now. Yeah, I mean, they're darn near the same. Last week was 540 and 625. Versus today or this week, 545. So, that hasn't, it's not doing this or this, which is great. Pricing could stand to stay the same. A little bit of flatness in that area would go a long ways towards having people feel good about what's going on in the real estate market. So anyway, not a lot really to say there. So I think I'll just leave it at that. I did want to talk just a bit about value. In our business, in our industry, there is, and I guess it's true in a lot of businesses, but it's not like I'll pick on a coffee shop. You go to a Starbucks and you order a venti mocha, and it takes a couple of minutes or whatever, and they give you a venti mocha, and you give them $3,000 or whatever coffee costs these days, and you're on your way. There's the products, you put them together, you sell it for money, and that's that. Our business certainly is that. We have a service, we provide it. People buy something and get keys, or sell something and get a check, and we get paid at that time. It makes it sound quick and transactional, like I just put it in an Amazon box and hit buy, or in the Amazon cart rather and hit buy. Definitely not how it is. So much of what we do in this industry is outside of the transaction. Incubating a client relationship, it's just a term I use. You refer me to somebody, they're thinking, I just had this happen. Somebody's going to move from the East Coast. And they may not do it until this time next year. They may not do it at the earliest until late this year. So in the meantime, we stay in touch. What's going on? What can we be doing? Do we need to look at interim rental housing? There's all the things. These are all things that we don't directly get paid to do because we don't invoice for our time. I always tell people we get paid really well when we sell a house. for somebody or help somebody buy a house. We really do. But when you look at it in terms of all of the things that happen during the course of a day or a week or a month in this business, the actual transaction related work is relatively small in comparison where time is concerned. So being of value to you, it could take years before you do something. And I've stayed in touch and stayed in touch and stayed in touch, and life circumstances have come and go and changed, whatever it is. A good friend of mine right now is looking to be a seller and move into something else. And we've been having that conversation now for 2 or 3 years. And it's totally fine. That's, it's all about, in his case, it's all about their needs and their timing and what's right for them. It always is. And that's okay. I continue to be of value and try to help them come to whatever conclusion it is they need to come to in order to make a decision or decide not to do anything. And that's happened with those folks. That's happened a few times along the way. It's fine. But that's what a value proposition is in a lot of ways. What are we doing now versus what do you need later? Should we do something now versus later? In the meantime, what can I be doing to help? And that's, when you look at things through a relational lens like I do and like my team does, it's just natural that that's how it goes. How can we help you? How can we help you now so that when it is time, we're ready to help you actually do the thing that we do? And that's help you buy or sell something. So that gets lost sometimes in, when it's transaction time. That's happened to me many a time where I get a call from somebody, they're either referred to me or they saw me on a sign or, whatever it is. Hi, Chris, it's Bob Smith. What do you charge? Right? I've had that conversation open like that dozens and dozens of times. And if I just said, well, I charge 6%. Oh, thanks. Click. Oh, gosh, what is the value in it? I mean, what if I charged 1%, but I do literally nothing? And there's some of that in this industry. When times are too good for too long, like they have been, there's people that do 1% worth of work and charge 5 or 6. It's unfortunate, but it's true. So, articulating what a value is and what a value proposition is and how we can be of value. Sometimes it's hard to articulate and it's easier just to demonstrate over time, but sometimes we're not availed or afforded the time to show who we are, to show, of what quality we're going to be and what kind of help we're going to be to you. Sometimes it just doesn't work that way, but that's what makes it so valuable to be able to articulate value. Those that have dealt with me over the years know what I'm all about, and they know, what I do and how I do it, which is why most people that have had my help are willing to advocate. It's because, it's the old adage, right? People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. It's a lot of truth to that. So, think about that when you're engaging with a service like a real estate professional. What value is he or she? What value have they been over time, either to you or the person that referred you to him or her? Those are strong considerations, because it also is going to come to, well, what value are they going to be to me after I get my keys or after I get my check? A lot of agents, they're gone. It's just not how we do what we do. We're not stalkers, we're not weirdos or anything, but we definitely aspire to stay in touch and to continue to be of value beyond the transaction. And I think it's important to understand that. And I think it's important to talk about it. And that's why I'm talking about it today. So anyway, enough of that. As I always say, until the next time.